A steady evolution. 3 things you may not know about the Indian media ecosystem. As a former writer at VentureBeat, the state of media industry in the US has always been important to me. Since the internet boom took momentum, even the world's most established publications have been forced into a downturn as they struggle to adapt to monetizing in the new digital landscape. For journalists, this has meant less job security due to the constant threat of newsroom cuts and redundancies. It would be easy to assume after such a tough decade, when American and European media such as the New York Times and The Guardian are having to battle to grow, that this must be happening in other countries all over the world. However, I recently discovered that this was not always the case. In India, the country with the second largest English-speaking population outside of the US, the media is evolving in a very different manner than seen in the West. A recent Forbes article by Freddie Dawson cites an official study which shows that the value of the newspaper industry in India has in fact increased by 2/3 since 2010, and according to KPMG is predicted to fluctuate comfortably between 12 and 14% for the next few years. The media industry in India is enormous. There are more than 82,000 newspapers in publication in 22 different languages, catering to more than 1.2 billion people, along with a whole new range of digital offerings which have emerged over the last decade. Here are 3 other things you may not know about the media market in India. Up until last year, India was the world's fastest growing economy, and it has a rapidly growing middle class. Coupled with a low internet penetration across the country, this is keeping newspapers relevant and profitable. A recent study estimates that the Indian middle class doubled in size over a 12-year period, from 300 million in 2004 to 600 million in 2016, and that it now accounts for nearly half of India's 1.2 billion population. While literacy rates and the national GDP per capita are rising, the group considered middle class in India is still lagging behind the socio-economic status of those living in more developed economies. Middle-class professions include carpenters, street vendors, wall painters and drivers, with lower middle class surviving on between $4 and $6 per capita per day, and upper middle class between $6 and $10. Rising literacy rates in India currently sitting at around 75%, and an increase in government-funded literacy programs for under 25s are playing a big part in bolstering the media industry in the country. When young people learn to read, one of the first things they do is pick up affordable newspapers in their own regional languages. The annual subscription for a local paper in India costs just 399 rupees, or approximately $5.80. The reach of these local language vernacular newspapers is quite astonishing. According to the 2014 Indian Readership Survey results, a regional Hindi newspaper Dainik Jagran is the most popular with over 16.6 million readers. Times of India, which has been estimated to be the world's most widely circulated English newspaper, is the only English newspaper to feature in the top 10. Due to the vast socio-economic differences between classes, different consumption trends within groups in society, and the fact that as many as 22 languages are spoken throughout the country, a unique situation has developed in which television, digital and newspapers are all developing side by side at different speeds within different demographics. In a recent TechCrunch article, Indian media mogul Raghav Bal, founder of Quintillion Media and board member at digital media platform Quintype, outlines 3 distinct media groups within the country. 1. Traditional vernacular publications, such as the best-selling Dainik Jagran, catering to regional districts. The effect of the digital revolution has been minimal on these publications due to the low internet saturation in the areas where they are popular. However, it should be noted that even some of these publications are having to cut costs to stay profitable. Lokmat, a top-selling Marathi newspaper, uses its factory in Maharashtra to print Maharashtra Times, a regional competitor. 2. More than 20 larger media companies which cover news from the whole country such as the Times of India, Indian Express and Hindu. These publications are adapting to the media downturn similar to publications in the US and Europe and are looking to pivot towards digital. However, unlike in the West, there is less pressure as these publications still have huge readerships and profitable business models. 3. There is the new emerging generation of media startups with their eyes set on disruption. These media companies are targeting middle and upper-class millennials. They are technologically agile and cover a wide